Good evening, Baker. This is Jameer. And we want to welcome you tonight to another segment of Baker Forward. And we hope all is well with you and your family. We hope that you've had a great weekend. I'm doing well myself, and with me this evening, I have a gentleman that I'm really, really excited to introduce, Mr. Earl Randall of Department of Housing and Urban Development. Good evening, Mr. Randall.
Thank you, Mayor.
Nice to have you on the show. And Mr. Randall has some information that we're going to talk about that I'm really, really excited about. But before we get into that, Mr. Randall, tell us a little bit about the Department of Housing and Urban Development and what you do for East Baton Rouge Parish.
All right. Well, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I appreciate you having me on the show. And just to give you a little bit background information on HUD, as we're known, it's Housing and Urban Development.
Right.
We are the housing agency for the federal government, and we handle all things housing here in the state of Louisiana. Our office is in New Orleans, and we have jurisdiction of the entire state of Louisiana.
Yes.
So when we say HUD, we're talking about public housing, we're talking about community planning and development, we're also talking about fair housing issues.
Right.
So there's a number of things that we deal with here at HUD, and a lot of people forget about the UD in HUD, the urban development portion of HUD. That's where a lot of our economic development comes into play, and a lot of our infrastructure work. So when you really think about HUD as a whole, if you look at a community and you start taking away HUD dollars and HUD programs, you'll almost be left with a blank slate, because our dollars touch just about everything in every community here in the state of Louisiana.
It does, it does. And I've been sitting down with you and your people for the last 2 or 3 months, and we got some big things coming. Baker, for you guys that don't know, we were part of the long-term recovery that went on, and you guys are going to do some big things for us to help us with that. So the City of Baker Homeowners Housing Fair, tell us a little bit about that, and how is that going to help us affect Baker and surrounding areas?
Okay, Mayor, the homeownership fair that's coming up June 30th, it's one of the projects that Baker signed on for in the long-term recovery. I'm glad you mentioned long-term recovery, because Baker has really been one of our champions in long-term recovery, working with the committee that you put in place to really lay out projects and programs that will really benefit the citizens of Baker.
Right.
I think this is an opportunity for homeowners to come out and really understand what's going on with home ownership.
Right.
When we talk about home ownership, there's many facets of home ownership that we rarely think about.
Right.
There's the buy it component of home ownership.
Right.
When you're looking to purchase a home, you may be a first-time home buyer, you may be a second-time home buyer. But in that buy it phase, we talk about how do we secure the financing to buy a home. You may be a homeowner already, and you may be looking to fix your home, to remodel it, or maybe do some upgrades that you want to do. There's things here at this home ownership fair that allow you to generate the financing needed to fix your home. But then there's also the keep it component of home ownership. We live in a society today where we may face some challenges, and we may fall into some situations where we need to have critical information to keep our homes.
Right.
So this fair will provide us information on securing our homes, keeping our homes, and also the information that we need to avoid foreclosure or things of that nature. So we have all of those components that will be working in this home ownership fair, and it's a great opportunity for the citizens of Baker, because we have well over 30 partners to come out to provide information that will be critical to not only home ownership, but in our road to long-term recovery for the citizens of Baker. Baker was impacted by the floods of August of 2016, and they have been a partner ever since the floods to make sure that its citizens recover in a manner that's conducive to what's needed to propel Baker forward.
Right. Now, you talk about a lot of the partners here, and you know, in our meetings we talk about one of my main goals was to make sure that we provide the financing that people need, and the opportunities, the knowledge and the opportunities so they can get finance. Name some of these partners. Talk about some of these partners that's going to be sponsoring this with us.
So I'm excited about the partners, Mayor, because one, the partners have really jumped in and helped us not only to come and participate, but to help us in the planning of this event. You know, we have financial institutions, we have lenders, we have housing advocacy groups. So we have a host of partners that are in every aspect and every facet of housing. And I didn't want to throw the names out, but because I didn't want to forget any of them. But if you notice on the fly, we have well over 32 sponsors and 32 partners that are coming out to provide information, critical information that's needed for the citizens of Baker to really flourish in their recovery. some of the federal partners that we have on tap, we have our agency, Housing and Urban Development. We also have USDA.
Right.
USDA plays a vital part in a lot of the housing aspects of living here in Louisiana. We also have the Louisiana Housing Corporation.
Right.
They will be on hand to help us to identify some of those recovery programs that a lot of citizens of Baker are still trying to navigate. This will be important because they'll have an opportunity to ask the critical questions that they need to help them in their recovery process. That's just a number of a few of the partners, but we have a host of other partners there to provide critical information, and it'll be a laid-back environment where you can come out and ask the necessary questions that's needed for home ownership.
That's what we're talking about. Man, I'm excited. I'm really, really excited about this. That we're going to be able to do this. And this is just not for Baker residents. This is for anybody that wants to come. This is basically like a regional event.
Correct. You know, this is, we're promoting Baker's Home Ownership Fair, but we also have a home ownership fair coming up in Denham Springs. Yes. There's one on June 9th. Right. And it'll be before the Baker Home Ownership Fair, but we're promoting these things jointly. As the mayor said, it's a regional thing because when the area was impacted by the floods of 2016, it impacted all of the surrounding area. And so we're reaching out to the entire viewing area, the entire surrounding area, and those impacted areas that were impacted by these horrific floods. And we want to make sure that we're providing information to all that need to access that information.
Well, thank you so much, and I really, really appreciate you. This is one of the good things, one of the great things that happened after the flood. You and your staff, you have done so much great work to help this city. I look forward to this. This is going to be Saturday, June 30th. It's going to start at 10 a.m. It's going to end at 2 p.m. Please come out. You can bring your kids. It's a family affair. It's going to be at the Baker Municipal Center. That's 3325 Groom Road in Baker. And come on out. I'm telling you, you've never seen anything like this before. And make sure if you have any questions, give Mr. Randall a call. His number is on the screen and his email is on the screen, and we'll go from there. Thank you so much. And Baker, get ready right now for the Baker Chamber of Commerce 1 minute, and we'll be 1 minute. All the members of the Baker Chamber of Commerce is going to tell you why they love us so much. We'll be right back.